Thank you. Back before you had a video. When I was 15 and making movies like that, I sent some of my own work to William F. Nolan. And he wrote me an incredibly gracious and complimentary and supportive letter, which probably made a huge difference in my decision to actually go ahead and try to be a writer. Nolan is now 82, the author or editor of about 90 books. A multi-genre master. Actually, he's not as well known as people like Bradbury and some of his other friends, but he's the only author to have won the top honors in mystery writing, horror writing, and science fiction writing, all three. Actually, that kind of eclecticism is something I aspire to in my own writing career. So we were in contact back in the 70s through that letter that he wrote to me when he got my work, and then 2001 we met at a conference, a horror conference, where he was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I was doing a panel or two. And we've been friends ever since. And more to the point, he ended up inviting me to co-author Logan's Journey with him, a sequel novel which is done, but we are now fighting through the editing of. And I wanted to read you a little excerpt from Logan's Journey. I'm waiting to release it because Warner Brothers has had the rights to Logan's Run for 14 years and has backburnered it repeatedly, and the idea is to bring the sequel book out on the coattails of a big budget Warner Brothers remake of the original Logan's Run. Don't hold your breath. It's Hollywood. This is oh, this isn't what I'm going to read. Never mind. I just introduced the wrong book. This is my comedic coming-of-age novel, Planet of the Dates. It's a fanboy coming-of-age novel, because no one had written one before, you know? There's lots of coming-of-age out there, but what about the kid who's into werewolves before he's into women? And so here is that book. From the prologue. Journey back with me, if you will, to the summer our nation turned 200 and I turned 13. For a brief history of the half-dozen Philip Corcoran productions that I had filmed up to that time. First came Snow Kong, 1974, 3 minutes, in which a King Kong model kit rampaged with the aid of oft-visible fishing line across a backyard snowbank. Taking a page from Orson Welles, I shot the action from a low angle in hopes of rendering the snowbank glacial and Kong colossal. But because I was operating Kong strings and cameras simultaneously, each with one outstretched arm, the end result was an avant-garde meditation on the cloud-filled January sky, with a blurry plastic gorilla head popping sporadically. Then came a supernatural horror trilogy, Werewolf! 1974, 5 minutes. Death of the Werewolf, 1975, 4 minutes. And The Werewolf Lives Again! 1975, 5 minutes. Each of these entries added a key component to the PC Productions repertoire. In the first case, live human actors. In the second, a tripod. And in the third, a script. The following movie, Were-Bear of Oshkosh, 1976, 6 minutes, I filmed on location during a Christmas week visit at my grandparents'. Its high point was a stunning shot of the full moon rising eerily over Lake Winnebago, followed by the dramatic battle between the bell-bottomed Were-Bear, played by my masked and moderately inebriated older brother. Female cast member, my older cousin Barb, had appeared in The Werewolf Lives Again, incongruously towering over her lycanthropic attacker. It would be the first to feature an actress who was not related to me. When I phoned to offer her the lead part, Stephanie was elated. You would have thought the call had come from 20th Century Fox. I decided to wait until our first day of shooting to go into any detail about the role of Dr. Zira. 1 week later, I was ensconced in the cellar using liquid latex to attach brown crepe hair and facial ape appliances to the delicate features of my visibly disappointed leading lady. I was quite proud of these appendages, a lower muzzle, upper muzzle, nose piece, and brow, which I fashioned from a sheet of foam rubber. When the first reel came back from Photomat, Stephanie did appear convincingly simian, as long as she was looking toward the camera. But when she turned to either side, the attachments flattened out, and she resembled less a kindly chimp psychologist than a somewhat forlorn 13-year-old girl with great slabs of packing material inexplicably epoxied to her face. You know, Philip, she said, as I affixed a huge sloping brow to her own small knotted one, this wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I mean, as an actress. Steph, you have all the best lines. I know, but no one will even see my face as I'm speaking them. Do you know what Kim Hunter said? She scrutinized me with cool blue eyes. Kim Hunter? She played Dr. Zira in the first 3 Apes films, and she considered that portrayal to be the crowning achievement of her career. She said that acting with the makeup, through the makeup, was more challenging than anything else she'd done, including Shakespeare. And that, I concluded, adding a final tuft to Stephanie's beard, is why I had no choice but to give the role to you. I see. Behind her muzzle there surfaced a smile. Nice speech, PC. Stephanie appeared in only 2 more of my films. Her school's drama club offered acting opportunities and a thespian community with which I simply couldn't compete. But PC Productions marched on without her, resolutely cranking out superfluous, zero-budget rehashes of other people's sci-fi and horror premises for the next 30 months. By 1980, though, when the rest of the book is set, with the change of decades, something had changed in me. A peripheral concern became primary. What had been latent took on laser-like intensity. 3 months shy of 17, I found myself tossing and turning through more nights than not, wrestling my sweaty sheets into submission, my head filled with visions not of werewolves, but of women. And as for mammoths, well, there was something woolly I very much wanted, but it was fairly small and didn't have a trunk. Lying in bed, I thought about Stephanie Slocum, a smart, sweet, pretty girl who had liked me, listened to me, made time for me, and whom I, in turn, had made into a chimp. I switched on the bedside lamp and squinted out across the room. As my eyes adjusted, they fell upon the dresser-top Zira, Cornelius, and Dr. Zaius action figures staring back at me in dusty silence. I grabbed my pillow and hurled it at the trio, knocking 2 of them, Zira and Zaius, to the floor. They landed as if to taunt me, one atop the other, in a rough approximation of 69. Damn you, I muttered, Heston-like, through gritted teeth. God damn you all to hell! I wanted a woman, a human woman. I wanted to hold her hand, then everything else. I wanted to stroll with her and roll with her, amuse and arouse her, dine with and devour her. I wanted to put away the Playboys and the paperbacks and find out for myself what supple and dewy really meant. And I wanted this, all of it, right away. For like an astronaut plunged through a time warp, I had crash-landed in an upside-down world where apes were insignificant and dates ruled. Thank you.
Well written.
Thank you.
Well written.